All right, we are live right here.
And we are excited.
Very
Second
excited.
week for LITtalks. And we have some awesome people tonight. So we're super excited to hear them and let them share their stories. The first one will be Natasha Feldman. Let's bring Natasha on.
Yes, and before we do, we just want to mention that this is episode number 2 of our LITtalks show.
Yes.
And this is a place for people to share their wisdom, to give their voice. And there's so much wisdom out there, and we want to hear everybody's wisdom. So we're so glad that we are doing this show. Last week was an absolute success.
Yep.
It was unbelievable. And we know that many parents were watching it. Many families and different people that are outside of our organization has reached out to us asking, how did we do this? This is such a good idea. So we are so happy that we're doing this. And stay tuned, because we are just about to bring Natasha here onto the Natasha Feldman onto the show. Now, she's got an amazing story to share. Let's just add her here.
Let's see.
1 second. Hello, Natasha.
Hi, it's nice to see you.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great.
So, wow, so good to have you on. It's a real pleasure to have you on the show, the LITtalks show. And we are really excited. Us and the people that are watching and will be watching later are excited to hear your story. So we'll let you take it away.
Okay. I guess I should begin with, how did I get involved in this wonderful organization, this wonderful family? My story kind of begins with a tough time. So I lost my grandfather to coronavirus a few months ago. And honestly, it was awful. It was beyond whatever I could have imagined, happening. We had to have a service on Zoom. We couldn't be there in person. We couldn't sit Shiva, and I couldn't even see my family or hug my family. And this hit really hard for me. It was a really hard time. And I don't know what kind of drew me. I think it was Hashem bringing me back, recognizing that I needed community again, and I needed to be with my people. So I started baking challah with my best friend over Zoom. Every Friday morning, we'd get up early, and it just reinvigorated that love for me. my Judaism that I grew up with, because I grew up going to Jewish schools, and then I just felt like I needed to do more. So I started to do the prayers by myself for Shabbat. And somehow I was fortunate enough to stumble upon Aishlit on Instagram one day. And
it's just so amazing because,
yeah,
you found us during COVID and came so close to us
Exactly.
during
I was about
COVID
to say
online.
that.
We've never actually met you in person properly yet for a second, but it's such an incredible story how close you become with our community
Only from the virtual experience.
only from the virtual experience. It's just mind-blowing. So that's why we felt it's such a need to bring you on and have you here with us. So
I was so lucky. And fortunate, really, because Hashem brought me there. I saw a post Aishlit had made, and I decided to message them. I said, "Okay, they're a Jewish group. It's a Jewish community in Los Angeles. I had never heard of Aishlit, and so I messaged Shira, and I actually messaged a board member, Becca, and just said, "Hey, I'm really interested in joining. What is this?" And Shira instantly reached out to me with open arms. She said, "Okay, let's set up a virtual Zoom coffee." And here we are now. It's been a few months. I'm on their Zooms all the time. It's the one thing that I look forward to every night is if they have an event, I'm there. You know it, and I'm talking also.
Yeah.
so amazing.
It's the best. I mean, I feel like that, that first conversation that I had with you, the virtual coffee date, let's put it this way, a few months ago, was the start of like a new chapter that I was very excited about. Right after that meeting, I was like, wow, she's awesome. I would love her to be part of this community and get to know everyone and get to know the quality people that we have, even though it's really challenging now and there's not much of in person, but everything is virtual, and yet you still are such a big part of the community. And even people from the community are like, wow, I mean, Natasha, everyone knows her now, and she's a newcomer. So that's beautiful.
Thank you. I think I needed to have the courage to reach out, right? It's often we see things online, we're like, oh, that sounds really cool. Maybe I can go to this event.
Right.
But oftentimes we don't end up going. We click like a little thing on Facebook that says going, and then we're like, oh, just kidding, changed my mind. And I think I built up the courage within myself to realize that my need for my Jewish community was greater than my nervousness to join something new. And it was kind of hard at first. The first meeting, I didn't know anybody. I hadn't spoken to anyone in the group, and so I pop onto Zoom, and I'm hoping to be accepted. And it kind of brought me back to that high school feeling, when you're just meeting your friends at high school and you don't know if you're going to be included or accepted. And boy, was I surprised. I was so surprised how warm and welcoming this family has been to me. I can tell you now, I have best friends from this group. I never expected that. People
and it's all people that we've never met. It's just
I can say one of my great friends now is Becca, and I haven't even met her yet in person. And we talked.
Right. She's not even here. She's only coming to LA like next week or so.
Amazing.
It would be beautiful.
It just goes to show, like the current situation. People were saying, what kind of job can we have now as a community leader, as engagement that we're meant to be doing? What kind of job is there that can be done? And there's actually so much,
Oh yeah, we've seen that in the past
so
few months. We've done way more things than we ever done before. I mean, way more programs. It's like something going on like every single night, and you see new people like you. New people are joining. People are coming. People are looking for that connection, for that the feel of the family, the inspiration, and they can find it. And I feel like it's so important to do what you did, coming out of your comfort zone and messaging, reaching out, wanting to try out. I'm sure there's many people out there that would love to be part of something, but it's kind of hard to, like you mentioned, to have the courage and message and try to join this new thing that they're not sure about, and they're alone on the screen. It can be intimidating, but it can be an open door to a huge chapter that you don't know. A great thing.
It truly has been a new chapter in my life. Some of my friends have been a bit shocked even how immersed I've been into this group and how much I've taken it to heart, truly. I'm starting to consider how am I going to build my Jewish life, because I realized that Judaism is so beautiful. I'm so grateful to be a Jewish person because it means I get to have a life of lifelong learning, really. And that's what this group has brought to me. Every Monday night, they have speakers come on and talk to us. And you see me there, I'm taking notes. I'm writing down every little bit of information I can get, because it sparks that love of being a student inside me. And I think a lot of people have that. And when you have topics that you're passionate about and you want to discuss them with like-minded people, it's amazing to be in a group like this where I know that every Monday night, every Tuesday night, I can go on at like 8:00 and I get to have real talks. I'm not worried about like what I'm going to say or if I'm going to embarrass myself or say something odd. Like, I can speak openly from my heart, and I know that people will be listening and challenge me too. It's not that everyone has the same views or the same opinions, but we really support each other in that. And I think the best part is you both. I said this in one of our dating seminars. It's my favorite. Every Tuesday, I wait for them. I said that you both have given me a perspective on how I can elevate my life and elevate myself, elevate my dating life, live a more full life as a person. So after just a few months to be able to say that, it's truly amazing.
Wow. Were you doing nothing Jewishly, if you don't mind me asking, before you got involved?
I would say before I would have said I was like culturally Jewish. I've always said I'm a strong Jewish woman, and that's how I identify myself. But I think my practices had slipped. I think they slipped a little bit. I think I didn't follow through as much as I wanted to.
Wow.
I think I always wished that I had the opportunity to have more Shabbats with my family growing up. My dad was very sick when I was growing up, so I think our family was in survival mode a lot.
Wow.
And I remember looking at these kids every time they say, "Oh, I'm doing Shabbat with my family." I felt that I wanted that, and I really wanted to have that. Not just when my grandparents were in town. I wanted Shabbat every Friday night, and now I do Shabbat every Friday night happily. I'm rushing home to make sure I light the candles on time.
You make challah for people.
I started delivering challahs to my friends because I realized I'm doing Shabbat on my own, and Shabbat's not something we're naturally used to doing on our own. It's a family experience. I can't wait for the first H-lit Shabbat in person. Can't wait. I've heard Shira does next level kind of cooking, so I can't wait for that. But I started to deliver challahs to my friends because I figured that's my way of celebrating Shabbat with somebody. I don't have to be there with them in person, but if I get to do a little good deed in the day, a little mitzvah, then I feel good.
Right. Wow, that's so inspiring. Look at that.
So inspiring.
This is like a beautiful, inspiring, I would say, person, because you have so much depth, and you have so much to add when we have the conversations on Zoom. Everyone, I think, are waiting to hear what you're going to say and what your insights are. So it's really mind-blowing.
Especially in the dating series, which you like very much.
I do have a lot to say on that one.
Do you know, it's such it was such a great story this week. We had somebody from Chicago reach out to us, just random. We don't even know who he is. And he's like, "I've been watching all of your shows and I can't wait for the next one. When's the next one coming out?" It was so amazing to see that somebody from out there who, just because we're putting these videos online, managed to see it. I really believe that the internet, if it's used in the right way, can be such a powerful tool
to reach people that are not even within your physical reach. You know, they're not in LA, they're not in California even. Many people from the East Coast, and they're able to, whether they're listening to these things on iTunes or Spotify as a podcast, or they're watching it on YouTube, they find it very useful and helpful. And it's amazing. I mean, that's our day and age. Using the technology for these kind of things, is amazing to be able to do that.
It really is
beautiful.
I feel like we're learning how to value connection and how to build connections. I can say I've made, I don't know, 30 new friends from HLIT during the pandemic. I don't know many people that can say that. And
I know. That's incredible. I know.
And genuine friends. I got texts before I came on here saying, good luck. I can't wait to see you. And that, to know that I have friends like that, what more could you ask for during this time? To have genuine connections with people that I know that once we can actually see each other and be in person, I know it's just going to be a wonderful experience even more.
Wow, that's beautiful.
You know, we're taught that we should buy ourselves friends, meaning literally, if there's a good person out there that you would want to be inspired by, buy your way in. Obviously not with giving them money straight out, but, you know, put effort into getting those good friends in your life. And one of the signs of a good friend, this is what one of the commentaries says, is Rabbeinu Yonah. One of the commentaries explains, one of the signs is that you're able to learn from them. You're able to have deeper conversations, insightful conversations with them. It's not just a Facebook friend, but it's someone that you can learn from. That's a real friend.
And bounce ideas and, you know, talk about some deep stuff too.
Deeper conversations. That's really the key.
And I've already had such deep conversations with people in the HLIT community. I got to, the first week when I got on, I said, hey guys, I don't know anyone here. If anyone wants to reach out and talk,
I remember that.
You know, like reach out. And I was so surprised. I didn't know what I was, you know, gonna get from that. So many people from our family reached out and said, hey, you know, I know you're new. If you want to talk, if you want to FaceTime. And I did. And I learned a lot from them. I learned when we were discussing dating for marriage and the value of dating with intention. At first, I was confused what you guys meant. I didn't know because I haven't been in the community a long time and I didn't quite understand it. And one of the HLIT members said to me that it's important to date with your whole heart. And it's important to realize that you're not going to date anybody you couldn't see yourself with long term. And that's what you guys meant, that you're really, every step you take, you're looking at someone's core values. You're not looking at the external. You're not looking at, you know, whether they have a nice car or all of those external factors. We can take those into consideration at some points, but really, truly, how much we need to value these core values that people have. Do we line up as people? And I've taken that in so much. I tell it to all my friends now, anytime they have problems in their relationships. And I feel like I get wisdom from you both. And that's what's beautiful to me.
Wow.
Wow, that's really inspiring, you know, to hear you. It sounds like there's so much insights that you came out with in the past. Because I was about to ask you, you know, what would you say is something that really sticks out to you that you think you've learned by being involved, or, you know, from the HLIT family?
I have 100 things. I have a notebook full. I think having faith. I think you say emunah, right?
Yeah.
So having faith is a difficult thing to do, and it's not always 100%. We don't always. If I told you I believed 100% of the time, then you said you wouldn't believe me. You wouldn't believe in me and my journey, because you know that it's a rocky road. It's a pathway. It doesn't happen overnight like that. Having faith is having faith in yourself and having faith in Hashem, that everything is going to happen in the right time. and it's hard to say everything happens for a reason, right? When you lose somebody close to you, how do you say that happened for a reason? It hurts. You can't say it like that. But what you can say is you're going to learn something from it. You're going to gain knowledge and understanding if you're open to it. And that's what I realized when I lost my grandfather. It's easy to get angry and it's easy to get scared and fearful of the world. But I told myself, I'm like, I have faith in Hashem and I have faith in me because Hashem's given me that power and that strength.
Wow.
And it's, I said to someone, they said, how can you, I'm volunteering as an intern therapist. And they said, how can you help people when you're mourning yourself? And I said, I would have to lose so much more in my life to still not be so lucky and so grateful for everything that Hashem has given me. So that's where I'm at. I wouldn't be where I am today without the Lit family. And because it's just the beginning, I know that it's just the start to something so wonderful in my future.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's just like, look, it's an honor to have you part of, the family and the community. And again, like you said, I cannot wait for the day we kind of officially reopen our doors to like in-person events and seeing everyone again. So you will really be able to, experience the vibe and the family and Shabbat. So hopefully that will be very soon, Bezrat Hashem.
Amen. Right? Yes.
And that was beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you for inspiring.
And inspiring everyone, whoever is watching, and ourselves, of course.
Your story is amazing, and we're so thankful that you're here and with us. And we bless you for only further success.
Amen.
And you can't have success without happiness. So you need both, right? We learned that this week. So we bless you with success and happiness and goodness, and your beautiful one to be very soon. And everything else should go in the way of your faith. You think good, it will be good. And that's the way that we want. So we bless you in that way. So thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
Have a wonderful evening. We're going to call in Izzy. And we are so thankful that he is here with us. Izzy Salant. We're just going to bring him onto the show.
Yes.
Here we go. We have.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, Izzy, how are you?
Here we go.
Doing great. How are you guys?
We are doing well.
Hashem. Things are good. Having you on the show is great. So we're doing good.
You're always on a show, right? This is Izzy.
I'm so happy to be here.
We're so happy that you're with us, and so glad. Ever since we met you literally a year ago. I think it was this. It might have been this Shabbat last year. I'm not sure, but it could have very well been.
It was either this Shabbat or the Shabbat right before.
Really?
When I got to Los Angeles,
you were very close.
Yeah, Izzy, how did you find this? Because you just got here. It was your first week or two, and then you came. How did you find us?
Yeah, if you want to tell everyone a little more about yourself, where you're from, maybe, and what you're doing here, and how it happened.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, a little bit about me. I am from the East Coast, so I recently moved to Los Angeles. I actually moved here a year ago. And when I got here, I really didn't know anybody except for my coworkers that I had met when I landed here. I actually landed in Los Angeles and then immediately went to a coworker's apartment where I could sleep for a couple of days before I found my own apartment. And in that apartment was this guy named Jacob Shapiro, who was a member of LIT.
I didn't even remember.
And I was, this was my second week here, and I was like, what am I going to do this week? I don't really have any plans. I don't really know anybody. And Jacob said, well, I'm going to this really cool Shabbat dinner at this person named Rabbi Jack and Shira's house. It's part of LIT. And I was like, I have no idea what that is. And he said, you should Facebook message them. You should ask if you can come and if there's any seats left open. And I said, sure. So I asked if I could come. You guys said, of course. And my second week here, I show up and I come here not having any community. And I stayed because I left with it. And I was just overwhelmed by how welcoming everybody was, how amazing the food was. I mean, it was my first time there, and the first thing that happens is both of you are just like, wow, we've never met you before. Tell us about yourself. We're really happy you're here. And I just felt so welcomed in your home. And I met some amazing people there, one of whom I'm living with right now, and two others who I'm going to be living with come November. And I've met some of my closest friends in H-Lit, all because Jacob Shapiro said, hey, I'm going to this thing on a Friday night. Do you want to come? And I have been so grateful that I've been there ever since.
It's so nice that people do that. I think it's really important that if you're going somewhere, which is nice and good, bring people along. You know, it's such a powerful.
Yeah, you can never know what is going to impact that person and how they're going to, you know, connect, and maybe they'll, you know, start coming every week, or they'll find that that's their place.
How things lead from one small, everything's just a seed, you know, everyone's a seed in the ground, and we're planting seeds all the time. Sometimes if we're smiling and giving good vibes, so that's a seed too, you know, we can save somebody's life by smiling to them and saying hello to them. How many people have taken away their own life because of sadness, or considered it, but somebody said a good word that day and they said, okay, you know what, life isn't that bad. Or it's just important to remember how powerful our actions are and how much impact they have on others. It's really amazing. What I find amazing about you, Izzy, is that you came here to work with a Jewish organization, and normally when that happens, okay, so you're working in a Jewish thing, fine, I'm doing the Jewish there. And then all the other Jewish is goodbye, you know, like I'm not doing any other, I'm not going to any other events. But you kept coming here throughout this past year. You know, you worked with Hillel, and you kept coming to us, and it was just so inspiring that it wasn't your job. That's what I'm trying to get to. It's like your life, and you love it. So it's to us, that was really inspiring.
That was very inspiring.
Well, my job, you know, was to not only be a Hillel professional, but it was also to teach and to engage and to be a part of a Jewish community. And at Hillel at UCLA, I was, you know, in charge of being on the student life team of the Hillel at UCLA community and all the UCLA students. And what I would teach in the community I was there was a great, fantastic community. But at the same time, you know, I was a staff member there. And so my job was to make sure to bring community to these students and establish it, not necessarily find my own. And so while I was teaching every day and while I was going to Shabbat services and doing all these other things, I wanted to be able to have my own Jewish community that I could go to with my friends and my peers. And also, just because I teach Jewish education doesn't mean I still can't learn. There are rabbis who have wrote a book on how to teach Jewish education and still are learning Jewish education to this day. And so it was always great to, you know, come to Taco Tuesdays and hear a sermon from Rabbi Jack, or it was great to come on Shabbat and have conversations. And it was amazing when I went to Palm Springs, and after Shabbat, I sat by the pool with you and everybody else, and we just had a long conversation about Judaism. And you can't find places like that everywhere. I can't just go to a Starbucks and sit down, although you and I did go to a coffee bean one time, and we sat down and discussed the Torah, and we learned it, and it was great. But you can't do that in a lot of other places. And in H-Lit and with you guys, you can. And I really was grateful for that. And I'm still grateful for that.
Wow.
That's so beautiful.
You always have such good words of inspiration, and also good vibes, good ways of entertaining people. Would you tell us a bit about your ways of entertaining? We could do one of these tricks. Show us what you made of.
So
you're made of much more than that.
So everyone in H-Lit knows that I'm a magician. For those at home who don't know, I'm a magician. That's the one trick I'm going to do over video, because it's hard to do magic over that, and I didn't prepare. But yeah, I like to do magic. I like to perform. I studied theater and journalism in college. I love writing. That's the main reason that the way I tell stories is I write plays, I write screenplays. I want to tell stories that need to be told. And as a Jewish people, we are a nation of storytellers. That's how we've stayed alive for how long we have. We can tell the Torah, we talk about the Talmud, we discuss our lineage, and we discuss our history. And, you know, I keep talking about the fact that I get to learn in H-Lit, but I get to tell stories here, and I get to learn stories. And I get to not only do that, but I get to entertain sometimes. I've done so much magic and so many events for everybody either because you guys have asked me to, or we'll just be at Shabbat. I'll be like, you guys want to see a magic trick? Because we're all sitting down and having fun. And the reason I do magic and the reason I perform and write stories is it gives people a chance to escape. It gives people a chance to not have to deal with whatever is going on outside right now. We're living in a new normal. We're living in a world ransacked by the coronavirus. Natasha told a wonderful and heart-wrenching story about her grandfather, and it's something that, you know, we're living with every day. And right now, as much as this is wonderful, we're doing this virtually because we can't be in person. And the fact is that we have time every week, whether we're in person or not, with you guys to escape, talk about Judaism, to watch programming, to have dinner, to just be there, even if it's for 50 minutes, to know that we have this community and have this kind of sense of normalcy that everyone is craving.
Beautiful. So beautiful. Izzy, before, I know that you have 1 or 2 words of inspiration to share with us, even though every minute you speak is inspiration, but you really have some words of inspiration to share with us too. But before you do that, I want to show everybody, because your name is Izzy Salant, and that name is the same name as one of the greatest rabbis within the past 200 years in terms of the Mussar movement. The Mussar movement is the ethical, growing, improvement, self-growth movement, and there's many books that are written. I once heard from one of the greatest Kabbalists that there are alive today, that his name is Rabbi Yaakov Hillel. He lives in Israel, and he said that today, the past 300 years already, most of the Mussar teachings, most of the ethical teachings that we have is really Kabbalah brought down into more simple terms, which is getting to know your inner self, becoming a better person, self-growth. All these ideas is finding connection to the ways of Hashem, and it's Kabbalistic. It's all really tuning into the different terms of Kabbalah in more simple terms. And one of them was Rabbi Izzy Salant, Rabbi Israel of Salant. And that is your name. So it's just so inspiring. Here's a picture.
I can see the resemblance.
Oh.
Hello.
Okay,
Hi.
so here's a picture of Rabbi Israel of Salant. It kind of froze there at that point. But it's just amazing. It's amazing, amazing, amazing. And we are so glad that you are here with us, and that you come from such a great background, and that you're here to share and continue that legacy of inspiration. So you said that you had something that you wanted to share, which we are really excited.
We can't wait to hear.
We can't wait to hear. So we'll give the floor to you.
Perfect. So right before I go into it, I want to briefly touch on rabbinic lineage, actually. So my last name is Salant, and my I want to say a 3rd grade, it might be a 4th grade, grandfather is named Rabbi Shmuel Salant, and he was the chief Ashkenazic rabbi of Jerusalem. Years and years and years ago. The Herbert Synagogue, which is still there, and was started by him. There's Salant in Israel. And so I come from this long line of rabbis. And so the fact that I'm back in the Jewish world, I was telling my dad about it. He goes, yeah, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. That's what most of us do.
That's amazing.
But, in that discussion, I want to briefly talk about keva versus kavanah in Jewish teaching. Keva being routine and kavanah being intent. And Ishlit gives both. And both have a certain credence to it that are wonderful, but you can't have one without the other. And when they're both in tandem with one another, you have something really beautiful. And so Ishlit provides us with keva. We can study Torah together. We can have Shabbat dinner together. We can discuss our Judaism together. We can do something that's routine for Jews, regardless of their religious identity, because we know what the Torah is. We know how important Shabbat is to the Jewish people. And it's something that we all do. But then there's the kavanah, which is the intent behind it. And are you doing it because it's routine, or are you doing it because it's something that you want to share with your community? And Ishlit does that tremendously, because when I walk in to a Shabbat dinner, we don't eat immediately. We talk, and we sit and we talk for hours, and we discuss for hours, and we listen to sermons, and we sit with our friends, and we have multiple courses, and we stay afterwards. Because your intention is not just to provide us with a Shabbat meal, It's to bring the community together and have a group of young professionals in a Jewish space being able to share their stories with one another. Same thing with Taco Tuesdays and with the dating seminar and everything of that nature. We could just learn Torah. It's very holy for Jews to do that. But there's something behind it, whether you're learning Torah because we're supposed to learn Torah or because you want to learn Torah and you want people to be engaged with it. And you guys, provided food before quarantine started. We could all get together. You had this wonderful interactive sermon where we could ask questions. The dating seminar is something that you get to teach Judaism to people, and people get to ask questions and be involved and really feel like they're comfortable in their Judaism and can make it within their everyday life. And so the fact that HLIT provides Kava and Kavanah together just makes it that much better.
Beautiful.
Wow, that's such a beautiful idea.
Beautiful idea.
Combining both together, the consistency, the Keva, as well as
I mean, it's so important that these ideas are really two separate points that need to be recognized, which is that, we have to have consistency in life and keep doing the things that we do, but we also have to have intention. And there's always a battle to have the right balance of the two. You see this actually a pattern throughout the Torah, in the story of the Torah. The Jews had this great awakening, leaving Egypt, and suddenly they enter the desert. Okay, now it's like the parent who trains his child to be on the bike, and then at some point lets go and says, okay, now let's see you do it. So the parent's not cruel. He just wants the child to learn. And kind of that's how life is. God gives us these moments of inspiration, these moments of kavanah, which is what you're alluding to, those moments of deep intention and connection. And then it's on our own to stay consistent with that inspiration and keep it going. It's when we had the tabernacle, so the beginning, everyone was excited, giving money and silver and gold. But then when it was actually to keep it going daily, so that needed a really strict, ruling and direction. La'alot ner tamid, in order to light the candle daily, that was a tzivui, tetzaveh, commandment, that we need to make sure that we light the candles daily. To give the donation, a one-off thing, that's easy because it's a great, you have that excitement in you. But for that to be consistent, that's what's really so important. And there's two things here that you're alluding to, and it's so true. So thank you for that. That's beautiful. That was amazing. We're so glad that you came on.
It's great I'm so happy I was able to. It's great to see you guys. And
amazing. Let's call in Natasha just before we finish off here, because it's been
join her
a beautiful journey with us all. Hey, Natasha, how are you? Welcome back. That was amazing.
That was beautiful. Two inspiring people here on the screen with us. Tonight was another inspiring evening.
It was.
Hearing both of them. And we really thank you from the bottom of our heart to, sharing words of inspiration, sharing your journeys. May you have continued success, happiness, hatzlacha, like we say in Hebrew, in everything you're doing, your growth, clarity. And may we be able to see you very soon, in person, not just on the screen.
And we hope that other people learn from you and share their inspiration. When we were going through the list of names, when this idea came up to us, we went through a list of names of all the people that have been involved with us in the past 2 years that could come on and speak. And we just said, okay, stop. The list is getting too long.
Yeah, there's plenty of people for like a year or two. We don't need to keep writing.
We could do this for a year with 2 people a week. And with and each person is inspirational. So you guys are second and you're first, because you can't put everyone in one shot. So you're all first. But
everyone is first place.
It was really inspiring to have Izzy, who's so involved, coming from such a great lineage, and Natasha, who comes from COVID to HLIT, and we've not even met in person. And it's just so beautiful that you're here with us. Let's put up some comments before you guys leave of some people. Oh, Chaz. So we have Chaz here. Let's just show you the comment. Can you see that? Well done, Izzy.
So
thank you, Chaz, for your words. What do you say, Izzy?
Thank you, Chaz. Thank you.
That's amazing. And here we have
Molly.
Go Natasha and Lit. So she was writing that when Natasha was speaking. So thank you, Molly.
That's beautiful.
You know Natasha, do you know her?
Yeah, Molly's actually one of the first people that reached out to me that day that I said, hey guys, anyone want to talk or chat? Molly instantly messaged me on Instagram and reached out. So she's now become a friend too. I'm really lucky. I'm really grateful.
That's beautiful. What a nice way to end the evening.
Beautiful way. Guys, do you have any blessings for anyone else out there? Maybe they should get involved or come on this show if they want to. What do you think?
I think recognizing that we all have that courageous part of us that can reach out to people and build connections, not to be afraid. And vulnerability is beautiful, and there's a beauty in it. So dive into that and reach out to other people, because right now we really need to connect with each other.
That's so true.
So true. That's so beautiful. Here we have another message coming
from Sam.
From Sam Cole. I don't know if you see it yet.
Let's see if we can put it on the screen. And Emma, there is another.
Here we go. Natasha, that was very inspiring and brave of you. Izzy, very inspiring. Can't wait to live with you in November. Oh, really?
Yeah, wow, that's a nice surprise, guys. This is beautiful. Okay, so you guys are going to be very close neighbors, I guess.
Are you going to be living in the chut?
We don't fully know yet. We're still figuring everything out.
Wow.
You should speak to us, because we can do something for your housing, and you know, if that will be something you're interested in, it's really worth looking into.
100%.
We have the Lit Shabbat house, so you can find out about that, and we'll help you with your place that you're probably going to move to, wherever you choose, but we can help you with that. So be in touch with Shira.
Yeah.
It's worth finding out.
That's so cool. Here we didn't even know. That's amazing. I'm very excited.
Emma Lorsch saying, great job. I'm feeling so inspired, which is what we're trying to do, is inspire people. And people should be inspired, because, you know, many have said, reaching out, you know, we've got these Pew reports coming out, and the affiliation of Jews is going down, and the involvement of Jews, because they're looking at it as a number sense, you know, in numbers, globally, what's the number? But I don't look at things like that. I look at it individually, and I look at Natasha for Natasha. And if we weren't here, Natasha wouldn't be here. And I look at Izzy for Izzy. And if we weren't here, Izzy wouldn't be here. I look at each person as an individual, not as a number and not as a global thing. And when we start looking at people like that, then this program, or what they call in the religious community, kiruv, outreach, is something, or engagement, is something that's really, really needed and really important. So we bless you all. A great night.
And a wonderful Shabbat.
And a wonderful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. It was so nice having you here. What was that, Natasha?
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to you. Shabbat Shalom to you, Izzy. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Shabbat Shalom.